Welcome all to SST College of Arts and Commerce. This is SST Edupedia. Myself, Assistant Professor Yougesh Patil from the Department of IT and Computer Science. Today, we are going to discuss the topic transmission impairment from the subject computer networks, which is for SYIT as well as SYCS for 3rd and 4th semester respectively. So friends, let's start with the topic transmission impairments. Now what is mean by transmission impairment? Whenever a signal travels through the medium or any kind of transmission medium like wire or wireless, when that message is not perfect, that is nothing but an transmission impairment. So the infection causes signal impairment, and this means that the signal at the beginning of the medium are not same as the signal which we are receiving at the end of the medium. So what is sent is not what received, that is nothing but an transmission impairment, and there are three basic causes of transmission impairment. The very first is attenuation, distortion and noise. You can say there are three types of transmission as well. So as you can see, transmission impairment which has been caused by attenuation, distortion and noise. So what is mean by attenuation? Attenuation is nothing but a loss of energy, or our signal becomes weaker. So when we transmit a signal, it becomes weaker, or the signal has been lost due to its lowest energy. So when the signal travels through a medium, it loses energy overcoming the resistance of the medium like copper or aluminum or any other kind of medium which we are using for transmitting a data. They have the metal, it has its own resistance power. So signal loses its energy. Then what we should do? Amplifiers are used to compensate for this losses or loss of energy by amplifying the signal. We are amplifying signal and we are powering, or we are forcing the energy to the signal. What are the measures or measurement of attenuation? So to show the loss or gain of energy, the unit is nothing but an decibel, and decibel is equal to 10 log base 10 P2 by P1. Here P2 is input signal, output signal, and P1 is an input signal. It means that P2 is a signal which has been received at the end of the transmission medium, and P1 is a signal which has been sent at the start of the transmission media. As you can see, at the point 1 we have sent the original message, and at certain time it loses its energy. So we use amplifier to regain the energy and it transmitted toward the destination point, that is point 3. So as you can see in the figure, the original message and the message after amplified at the point 3 is same. Let's see one example how to calculate the loss of energy. Suppose a signal travels through a transmission medium and its power is reduced to 1/2. This means that P2 is 1 by 2 into P1. So in this case, the attenuation, that is loss of power, can be calculated as 10 log base 10 P2 by P1, which is equal to 10 log 10 0.5 P1 divided by P1. So here, as you can see, we can divide the P1 and we have the value, that is 0.5. So 10 of 0.5 at the log base 10 is minus 3 into 10, that is nothing but an minus 3. So it will be a minus 3 dB, which is loss of energy. So the loss of 3 decibel, or we can say a minus 3 dB is equivalent to losing the 1/2 power of the original signal. Now as you can see over here in this diagram, we have mentioned that how the amplifier reduces the attenuation and it amplifies the signal. It gives a power or energy to the original signal which has been received at the destination point. Distortion. Distortion means signal changes its form or a shape. So distortion occurs in a composite signal. As we have seen in a previous example, the shape or representation of signal is in a sine wave or in a wave form. So whenever that wave changes, it nothing but signal is changing its shape. So each frequency component has its own propagation speed and traveling through the medium. So the different component therefore arrive with the different delays at the receiver. That means the signal have a different phases at the receiver than they did at the source. So as you can see in the figure, we have sending a signal, composite signal from the sender's end, and the composite signal has a three different phases. And as you can say, any one of the phases changes its shape, then the composite signal which we receive at the receiver's end also change. Now the next type of impairment is noise. Now friends, noise is a completely different type of attenuation. There are four different basic types of noises, that is thermal, induced, crosstalk and impulse. Now what is mean by thermal noise? Whenever a random noise of electron in wire creates an extra signal, it causes to the thermal noise. Many of times, as we know, every metal has its own thermal points. So whenever the signal travels through the transmission media, it hits or it attacked by the different atoms in that particular metal. So it creates an heat, and due to that heat it changes its shape, so it causes to the thermal noise. Then induced noise. Induced noise is nothing but the noise which has been created by the other medium or other transmitting signal. Like for example, whenever we are talking, someone is playing a device, or if someone is making a noise of car or motor or any other appliances, okay, that it causes the induced noise. So induced noise is nothing but we are having an extra signal which comes from the motor or appliances or any other medium. Then what is mean by crosstalk? Crosstalk is same as the previous two, but the difference or example is whenever we call anyone through a telephone medium and we had a cross connection, so in that case we have a extra signal from the another source, that is nothing but an crosstalk. And impulse noise, whenever we receive a signal and the signal is affected for a second or the fluctuation happens for a single second or a microsecond, that fluctuation due to any kind of reason, that power failure or fluctuation in power lines or lightning or any other medium, that is nothing but an impulse noise. Now as you can see, whenever we transmit a signal from a point 1 and noise happens, then it changes a shape and the original signal. So the signal which we receive at the point 2 is improper or a signal with an impairment. So thank you.